Welcome to No Apologies on Beck, where we are unafraid to speak the truth. I'm your host, Rick Becker, co-host Lori Hintz.
Hi there, how are you doing?
Well, I'm good.
You probably are pretty excited about it being Wednesday, almost crossover, I'm guessing.
Yes, yeah. I am super happy because I have tomorrow off.
Yay!
We got done finally in the first half of the session. And we're going to have Assistant Majority Leader Scott Lauser, District 5 representative, with us for segments 2 and 3. And
it's going to be a good show.
It is going to be a very good show.
We got a lot of recapping to do, too.
Some brain food. First up, a few bills we're going to recap. We had a lot of bills these last 2 days.
I can't even imagine how fast you had to.
But we had,
right.
It was either that or stay all night.
Right.
And so I'm glad we did. We got out, but we covered a lot. And because we covered so much, I think what we're going to do is hit some of the bills that I think are highlights that you might find interesting. And we'll probably continue this tomorrow night too. Some piecemeal picking of select bills. So
there is some really interesting stuff. I was reading about it too. It's very good. So should we hit it?
There's an assortment. Let's hit it. First graphic, we've got House Bill 1420, which ironically, we had a representative doctor on, and he said that they didn't pick 420 on purpose.
Right, but
I find that very serendipitous. But it passed.
It did.
Yes, it passed in the House, and now it will go over to the Senate. It passed because I think a couple of things. You have people that wanted it to pass in its own right because they think that it's not going to be particularly harmful. There's no victims allegedly outside the person using it, and so let's not have it be illegal. Let's not throw people in jail for ingesting this substance. So they were already on board. But then you have a large faction of the legislature who is maybe not particularly fond of the idea of recreational marijuana, or we call it euphemistically adult use marijuana. But the writing is on the wall. And we know that if we don't pass something, certainly something else is coming down the pike with an initiated measure. It likely would be put into the Constitution, which I disagree with. It doesn't belong there.
It doesn't.
And so to sort of head that off at the pass, and I'm certain for some of the individuals too, it allows us to regulate it more and tax it more, which again, I'm not a big fan of. Nevertheless, those two overall factions come together. This bill passes. It goes to the Senate, and I think probably for the latter of those two reasons, it will pass the Senate as well.
Fantastic. Wow, that is great news. Good for you.
It is very limited, though. You can't grow it yourself. You can't just go out and buy it anywhere. You can't sell it. You have to go through a compassion center. It will be taxed at 10% on the wholesale and 15% on retail.
Which is high.
It's high, but you can have an ounce, and you can also have edibles, which is good. I always found it ironic that we were going to legalize marijuana, or at least we already did legalize medical marijuana, but tell people that you have to smoke it, which is unhealthy.
Do the edible stuff.
So you can do edibles. You can't have more than 10 milligrams of THC in a little square.
There you have it.
Whatever. Anyway, it's passed. I think it's good.
Wow, I'm impressed. I did not know how that was going to go, so that's impressive that it passed. That's very good.
All right, next up, go ahead and hit it. House Bill 1498. This is, a lot of people refer to it as a stand your ground law, duty to retreat law. And this, I mean, you could go into a lot of detail here, but I think that just to simplify it, what it does is it takes out the language. And so for our viewers, again, that if language is underlined, it's new, and if it's crossed out, it's current law
that's being struck.
that we are removing. So we are removing the part where it says if a force is justified if this, and then we're removing the part that says if the person using such force first requests the person against whom such force is to be used to desist from his interference with the premises or property.
I just want to say, desist.
Yes.
Get away from this premises.
Right.
I just don't see that happening.
So someone's attacking you. And I'm going to jump in, and I'm going to say, Lori, I'm here to save the day, and there's a guy, and excuse me, sir.
Pardon me. Could you please cease and desist?
Right. And then he shoots me, and I didn't even get to finish the sentence.
So the good striking that language.
This is a very good bill, a good law. I'm not sure how it'll fare in the Senate. The Democrats in particular, they want to call this a I'm trying to remember some of the phrases used, but basically a kill someone at will, a make murder legal bill.
All about the phrasing, apparently.
Yeah,
okay, good to know.
It's exaggerated. What it does is it takes away that burden that if you must in a split second make a decision to defend yourself and your property, that you fire a weapon, that you don't have to worry about that liability because you didn't take that time to step back and say, please desist, or that you try and find a way to retreat.
Right, that whole retreat thing.
So it takes.
You don't have time. It's just
right. It takes that.
Very, very good. That is 1498. You said, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And then 1383 came up today. That's my bill, and this one is near and dear to my heart. And we've talked about this in a couple of occasions on this show, and essentially,
this is a firearms bill, isn't
right.
it?
I didn't have anything highlighted here because there's just nothing in particular that you can just say this is the essence of the bill. Mm-hmm. What this bill does is it says that well, we talked about the Sabika Sheik law, mm-hmm. and we talked about how if that became law, for any gun you want to buy, or more freakishly, any gun you currently own, within 3 months of that bill passing, you would have to get a license. And to get a federal firearm license, you would have to pass a background check, have a psychological evaluation, have 24 hours of training.
It was super
24 hours
onerous.
of training.
I mean, all of the rules on here were
Right.
just ridiculous.
Get firearm insurance. You have to buy an insurance policy and pay $800.
And the $800.
If you didn't do all of those things within 3 months, the penalty, I'm not exaggerating, the penalty was a minimum of $75,000 up to $150,000.
And what was the jail time?
It could have been either or, 15 years minimum in prison, 25 years maximum. So this bill says to the citizens of North Dakota, look, we're not saying that you can ignore federal law, but what we are going to do is not allow our state and local law enforcement to come knock on your door to enforce those laws, to arrest you because you didn't do all those things to be able to keep the gun that you currently own, to try and confiscate a 30-round magazine or to confiscate your AR-15. We don't want to put our law enforcement in that position.
Right.
If the U.S. Marshals and the ATF want to do it, great,
fine.
But we're staying out of it.
Correct.
So
how did it go?
This was fairly contentious, but it did pass.
It did?
Yes.
That's great.
59 to 34.
That's going to make national news. You watch.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And I'm putting up, I don't usually do this, but I just wanted people to know, because if you're a Second Amendment advocate, you just need to be aware of who voted for it and who didn't. And if your representative didn't, then you need to let them know that you wish they would have voted otherwise. Because if this doesn't pass, say over in the Senate, and a law like the Sabika Sheik bill passes, then we are up a creek.
Yes.
We are totally up a creek, and we would have missed this amazing and very, very important opportunity. So I would say, do not be afraid. Take the energy, contact your legislators, tell your representatives if they voted no, they made a mistake, and you hope they do better next time. For your senators, I urge you to contact them sometime over the next week or so and tell them how important it is that they pass House Bill 1383.
Fantastic.
All right. That's
all right, we've got a real exciting announcement to make. We kind of teased a little bit on social media today, though. You may remember we were really pumping this whole fast cash thing. Well, we've got a winner, and we're going to show you who it is.
Beck News Fast Cash. Beck News Fast Cash for $1,000. Well, I'm Mark Tucson, News Operations Manager at Beck News, and we have a huge winner of the Beck News Fast Cash, and that is our friend Annie. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We're so happy to have you as one of our wonderful viewers, and of course, we're even happier to be able to give you this $1,000. Did you see that? Isn't that awesome?
Mm-hmm. Yay.
Yay. And what's your name? Yay. What's your name? Oh, you're so shy now? How about, what's your name?
Ruby.
Ruby, it's so glad to have you here at Beck News. And you know what? How do you feel about your mom winning that $1,000?
Excited.
She's going to put it in your bank account, I think, for college.
Mommy.
Maybe? No? Okay. No. All right. Well, I know that it can go to all kinds of great things, and you know what? We're so happy to have you and your mom and your whole family part of our family here at Beck News. So thanks for listening and watching, and we're so happy to have you as part of the show.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, excellent. Annie Beckler,
awesome.
a No Apologies with Becker viewer.
Yep. She won it by watching our show. Now listen, we've explained to you before, watching our show will increase your IQ. It obviously makes you richer as well. So continue watching, or it's your loss.
Yeah, that's right.
We are going to be back with the Assistant Majority Leader in our presence. Unbelievable.
We'll be just right back.
Respect, innovation, trust, and excellence. These core values can be seen in every building built by Straightway Construction. In the community for over 15 years, Straightway Construction has become the premier construction company for commercial projects. From dirt to design and framing to finish, Straightway Construction is your #1 choice. You won't have to look far to find a project that has that Straightway touch. Call them today or go online to straightwayconstruction.com and let them make your vision a reality. Did you know the Foundation for Rural Service awards scholarships for rural students? The scholarships range from $2,500 to $7,000. Go to www.frs.org for information and applications.
Hi, I'm Dennis Haugen, along with my sons Andy and Mike, and we're showing our support for wind energy in North Dakota.
Wind energy has provided farmers like us with a steady stream of income that's not tied to the weather like crops and cattle are.
Another bonus is that wind farm owners are required to maintain the roads leading up to the turbines. Because of that, oftentimes these roads are the best in the county. Wind energy is good for landowners, it's good for the land, it's good for our economy, and it's good for North Dakota.
There's nothing more important than family. And at Prairie Rose Family Dentists, we get it. That's why we have more locations, more dentists, specialists, extended hours, pediatric clinics, and even emergency appointments, so you can always be seen. Book your appointment today at prairierosedentist.com. Prairie Rose Family Dentists. We are family.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Pub 21, your one stop for fun, drinks, and food. Our spacious facility provides COVID-safe fun for you and all your friends. With nightly bingo and specials, you can be sure there's something to do for everyone. If you're staying in for the night, we've got you covered just across the way with Pub 21 Liquor. We have a wide variety of options, from wine to whiskey and everything in between. Stop in today at 1014 South 12th Street in Bismarck to see what all the buzz is about. You won't be disappointed.
Welcome back to No Apologies on Beck. We're here with Assistant Majority Leader Scott Lauser from District 5 in Minot. I'm just going to keep calling you Assistant Majority Leader. There's so many syllables.
Just say Scott.
Scott? Okay, Scott.
But that's a pretty nice title, not going to lie.
I also consider Scott my friend, but that's just so that I can try and get further and get more power in the legislature.
Is it working?
It's not.
Not really.
Clearly, I picked the wrong friends.
Yeah, I got to work a little harder on that one.
It's not the first time I've heard that.
All right, so thank you for being with us. We gave you basically an open slate to just talk about what you wanted, because we've had several other legislators on and we've talked about specific bills. It's been very informative. But you've had some very interesting bills yourself as prime sponsor, but also bills that you've helped usher through. But beyond that, in your particular position, you also have certain insights and I guess perspectives that a lot of people may not have. And so I just wanted to have a kind of a free-flowing chat.
Okay.
So we're done. How do you think the first part went?
Well, I was a little nervous last night. When actually going into yesterday, we had about 130 bills that we had to get through by crossover, and the Senate was done.
Yeah.
Yikes.
And we've had some contentious bills on the floor and some long discussions. We've had bills that go for an hour. And then the vote is dramatic. It's 80 to 10. So it felt like we weren't going to get through everything. But we did that 2 years ago. Same thing happened. And I feel good about the package of bills we've sent over to the Senate. I'm looking forward to seeing what they've sent us. I haven't looked at them. And I don't know if you've been doing that, but
No, I haven't.
It's really hard to really try to have the time to look at what's coming when you're trying to keep up with what's in front of you today.
Yeah,
So
I agree. I absolutely agree. I think since I've been in anyway, I don't believe, you correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think we've had a Thursday off since I've been
no,
in.
I don't think we have.
Yeah.
So that's
good.
Yeah.
So
Yay.
we're cracking the whip. I like that. And I'm guessing that you and Chet and the others are going to be sort of continuing that mindset to get us out probably at least a week early, because we have redistricting. I think we've talked about that in the program. So yeah, every census that comes around every 10 years, there's the opportunity and the need to redistrict, reformulate the size of the legislative districts, and then there's a whole lot to it. I haven't been involved with it, but then we as a legislature need to come back, and so some of the days will need to be saved for that.
Yeah, we're going to need 3 days likely for that, for redistricting. The last time we did this 10 years ago, it was 11/11/2011, and we finished, and I took a picture of the board after everybody left at 11/11 during the day.
Oh, wow.
And we were out that day.
Weird.
And that was kind of a unique thing. So 10 years ago we did this, and it took 2.5 days. So
Okay.
we're going to need 3 days for that.
Do you think that you're being able to get it done more precipitously has to do with just discipline? You think that this is a more disciplined legislative body this time? I'm just wondering. I mean, if it seems like there has been better corralling and direction.
Recently.
Recently.
It feels that way, yes. We had over 500 bills in the House. And,
Wow.
And we're going to hear, by the time they come back and go to conference committee, we're going to take well over 1,000 votes. And so it's going to take discipline. And I think a lot of people were looking at the calendar and recognizing we wanted to get done at least tonight, if not tomorrow morning. Mm-hmm. And we got it accomplished.
That's fantastic. That's just good news. I mean, it's not easy. I bet it was frenetic.
You know, we have to rely a lot on the committees that actually hear these bills and vet them. And so they come out with a committee recommendation, and sometimes the committee bills, or the committees, the policy committees are different than the appropriations. You know, they're looking at the policy says, should we pass this? It makes good sense. Mm-hmm. Appropriation says, can we afford it? And sometimes those conflict.
Correct.
And there's a little bit of that happening on the floor the last couple of days, but we're relying a lot on what the committee work did during the week.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the your assistant majority leader last session as well. Mm-hmm. Huge difference in the dynamics of the sessions, in large part because of COVID, although I will correct myself. It's the same as when we talk about in business and everywhere else that things are responsible because of COVID. I'm going to say it's because of the policies implemented because of COVID. So it's very different due to these things. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Well, you know, we were on pace in March of the last session to potentially submit bills electronically and have the system that we're using now that I think a lot of voters and citizens expect of us. The way we used to submit bills and get signatures and co-sponsors has changed dramatically. It used to feel like you were in high school going around with your yearbook and getting autographs. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And we're submitting all of that electronically now. We had the technology to do that 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. We didn't implement it until now. Now everybody thinks that was COVID related. That's just an advance of technology in our systems.
Sure.
It is much different this time around, but I think the biggest difference, and you and I were talking about this today, a couple days ago I was sitting on the floor of the house, and I looked up and the balcony's empty.
Weird.
And behind the rail is empty.
Right.
It feels like nobody's there. but we have never had this much participation in our process.
Exactly. You know why? Because everything's transparent on video now, and people are taking advantage of that, and I love that. I mean, we, as citizens, I'm just going to count myself because I'm not a legislator, but we as citizens have been wanting to be able to be actively watching what's going on in the legislature, and now we can do it, and so we are.
Well, you know what's happening? People will call or email or text and say, what's going on with that bill? They know what's going on. It's happening in the committee room next door, and they know before I do. I'm not in the committee, but they're virtually watching, or they're watching live.
Right.
And not only can you watch, but you can testify remotely.
Right.
And that's something that, again, is COVID related, but it isn't going away when COVID goes away.
Right.
This is here to stay.
Yeah. You know that Beck actually has those live feeds from the Senate and House as well. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. They're on top of it.
It's a beautiful
Back,
thing.
back. But yes, it's fantastic for the constituents. I find it fantastic myself. In the past, if we wanted to catch exactly what was said in a committee hearing, we had to put a request in, and then you'd get just this long audio file.
Right.
Seriously, last session, I was listening to audio files and I was transcribing, and then I have to keep rewinding because I can't type fast. It's ridiculous. Now, just click, click, click. I'm watching it. My committee, the bill, my bill that we just talked about, 1383, I was really curious what was going to happen in the final assessment by the committee. I just watched it live and knew what was going on. In fact, maybe doing a little texting.
Right.
So yeah, it's wonderful technology.
Everything's indexed, and there was some trepidation with that, and it's going to continue, because I'll tell you the big difference that we're not really prepared for. It was committee discussion after a bill is heard, and people that came for the bill left, and maybe 2 weeks later we bring it up and we have that candid discussion. That's all streamed and saved and indexed. Where that's really going to make a difference in what we do, I think, is conference committees. When that comes after the Senate has heard the House bills and they might make a change and then we have to get together, that's going to be where the really interesting video stream is going to be, because we've never done that before. And very few people have experienced those conference committees, because they happen almost on the fly.
Well, right, on the fly. And there's, well, let's just say there's an aspect to the sausage making in conference committees that generally
is not public.
Occurs in the manner it occurs because it's not public.
Right.
So that it's going to be.
You're right. That's a great point.
This is holding us accountable.
Yeah.
It's making us act quicker. It's making us respond to constituents faster.
It's all good.
You know, I will say one thing though, and I'm going to ask for a little grace from people. This has increased our email inbox almost threefold.
Yeah.
And we don't have staff.
Right.
It's hard to get back to everybody. Yeah. And I just hope people understand
I saw Luke Simon's video where he said, I've got 120 emails sitting in my inbox. I'm really, really sorry. It's going to be a while before I can. Yeah, is that all? Is that all right?
Yeah, it's
hundreds
it's a
and
crazy.
hundreds.
And I'm missing things all the time. Someone said, did you see my email? I'm like, yep. And they're like, no, the one before that. I'm like,
who knows?
No, I didn't. I want to.
Yeah, it is. It's drinking from a fire hose.
But it is. It's a good thing. More transparency is always good. I didn't hear. How much time do we have left?
I didn't hear either.
How much time do we have left,
We were trying to
producers?
talk. Oh,
40
okay.
seconds. Well, this is a great time to
Right,
call
we'll take
it.
a little break.
Scott has agreed to stay for another segment. We're going to talk more about what's happening in the legislature. Hang with us. We'll be right back.
Jeez, what a mess. Look at that. There's roof stuff everywhere. It's so embarrassing. Ruins the neighborhood. Come on, humans. Let's get this fixed.
Don't let your roof go to the dogs. Call America's Best Contractors for your free estimate.
Need a new woof?
After checking with the rest, go with the best. America's Best Contractors. 258-2412. Online at americasbestcontractorsincorporated.com.
In southwestern and south central North Dakota, on any given day at any given moment, a Dakota Community Bank and Trust customer is logging in or signing on to do their online or mobile banking. We believe that community banking can blend both the past with down-home customer service in-house and the future with modern banking conveniences and technology for our customers anywhere, like here or here, all while honoring our long-standing tradition of community-first oriented banking. here at Dakota Community Bank and Trust.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
Beck Communications is hiring. Beck Communications is seeking qualified candidates for plant technicians in our Wheatland, North Dakota location. Beck Communications is an equal opportunity employer. To view the job details, visit www.beck.coop. To apply, email your cover letter and resume to careers@bechtel.coop. Beck Communications, making connections that matter.
If you're a Beck Fiber customer or the dependent of a Beck Fiber customer, you might qualify for scholarships. Beck awards scholarships to seniors headed to college or to students attending University of Mary. Go to www.beck.coop for eligibility guidelines and applications.
The experienced professionals at Superior Glass provide residential and commercial glass installation and repair services in central and western North Dakota. Superior Glass is your source for stained glass projects, mirrors, windows, touchless, and automated entry solutions. Stop by and see us at 3323 East Broadway in Bismarck or call us at 701-258-5600. Superior Glass, where you get superior service for less. Bye for now.
Did you know the Foundation for Rural Service awards scholarships for rural students? The scholarships range from $2,500 to $7,000. Go to www.frs.org for information and applications.
We're back, you're back. No apologies on Beck, you're after hours. Oasis of Sanity.
After hours?
He says that all the time. Well, it's because it's 9 Central, so after hours.
Is it dark?
It's dark. Yeah.
Look out the window.
In the summertime, not so much, but yeah, it's kind of winter yet.
We need to change the time zone or something.
Hey.
We tried that.
Yeah.
That failed? Did that one fail? Yeah. Okay, I did not realize that. All right, good to know.
It's been so
But there
long
was more
ago.
than, there's one, is there one on the Senate? Yeah. Height Camp has one, I suppose that died too. Do you know? Okay.
It's a
We'll
Senate
find
bill.
out, I guess.
We'll know next week.
That's right, because it'll be crossover.
Okay.
Maybe you should explain what crossover is for those people who do not know what crossover is.
If you don't know what crossover is, it means that you have not watched us from the beginning, but that's okay. I forgive you. I forgive you. Crossover in the legislature, the House here's all of the bills that the members of the House of Representatives introduced. The Senate here's all of the bills that the members of the Senate introduced. The ones that pass each of those respective chambers eventually have to be heard by the other side because naturally it takes both chambers to pass a bill to be signed by the governor and become law. So we call crossover that point in time in which the House is done with all of their bills, the Senate's done with all of their bills, we take a couple of days off, and then we come back and do the other chambers' bills and hash out the differences and the final appropriations bills. So we're at crossover.
Okay, thank you. Well done.
Did I do okay?
You did
Assistant
pretty well,
Majority
yeah.
Leader? Okay, thank you.
All right, we're with Scott Lauser, the Minot representative, who is the Assistant Majority Leader.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, so we were talking a little bit about what's happening, how the dynamic is different because of COVID. Let's segue right into something that's a little bit more specific, something that bugs the crap out of me. The mask, we have a mask mandate.
On the House floor.
On both the Senate and the House floor, a mask mandate. Now, I follow it because they gave us the option, if you don't want to do the mask mandate, you can go to this other room. So they gave the benevolent leaders like Scott were so kind and gracious as to say, if you don't like our rule, you can go to the 14th floor of the Capitol and view it remotely. So I really appreciated that, and I said thank you, and graciously I will come in with my stupid face shield, which does nothing. But anyway, I
It's
digress.
like going to the kids' table.
I digress.
It wasn't that we said our rule, we voted on it collectively.
Between the House and the Senate?
It was a joint rule in the House and the Senate, and that's what I think we're going to talk about, is we are still living under a mask mandate in the legislature. And it is a joint rule, and we're hoping when we get back from crossover that the Senate will agree with us to lift the mask mandate.
Yes, yes, yes. That would be
on ourselves.
That would be great.
Okay, I'm going to push you. You said you were hoping the Senate blah, blah, blah. That's what I heard.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so are you under the, do you believe that we have to have the Senate agreement, which is different than saying, or do we want to work nicely hand in hand with the Senate? We would like their agreement, because those are two different things.
Right, and the Rules Committee met yesterday, and we're going to meet, we get back on the 3rd, we're going to meet again on the 4th. And, you know, it's my content, I would really like to see us come into the second half with a rule that says we're going to eliminate the mask mandate.
Yes.
We're going to need, because of the way we did this, the joint rule, we're going to need the Senate to agree, and we know now going in they probably won't agree. Now, there is a dispute as to whether or not that has to take place. Rather than going down that road, I'm hoping we can convince the Senate it's just time to lift the mask mandate and let's get back to normal. And go beyond the mask mandate. Let's allow citizens back into the chamber.
Yes.
I would really like to be able to have citizens sit with us on the floor like before.
Yes.
Press a little button, yes or no, and get back to the way the legislature has always been.
Love
Gotcha.
it. So
I will say Scott has been an advocate for getting back to a little zone of sanity. But he's being very diplomatic here, because I know that he knows full well, even though he hasn't said so to me, but he has half a brain, and he knows full well we do not need the Senate's concurrence to get rid of it. It takes 2/3 vote by the House. It's in plain language, but for some reason we don't want to look at the plain language and read it as is. But
I'm going to push back, though.
Push back. We're going to have a whole
This
segment.
is
I'm going to go
awesome.
through
I'm
word
totally
by
loving this.
word
This
by
is
word
great.
of the rule.
Because there is, I agree with the rule, and I understand the interpretation. I agree with you. In the bigger picture, we now have control of the Senate bills. They have control of our bills. I want to work with the Senate. I want to get to a point where we're working together. We're both Republican-dominated supermajorities. I would really like to see the Senate agree with us, be able to lift that mask mandate without having to go through the rules process and try to prove if the rule is actually applicable.
So I'm reading this as you're saying, I'm going to give them a chance to do the right thing.
I want to work with them.
Okay.
And I hope they want to work with us.
You would think.
And like I said, we've got their bills, they've got our bills. It just so happens that we're at that point of crossover. We gave them possession of our bills at about 5 o'clock today. And everything we pass, they control now, and vice versa.
But I respect that position. You always have common sense. That's why you're in leadership and I'm not. But it's true, because I'd be focused on, no, damn it!
Right.
Can't you read the law?
The minutia.
Scott's like, well, you know, I don't know, whatever. But so I do respect that. Okay, so that is, we're hoping then, bottom line, you're hoping the Senate will agree and we will have what happen?
I'm hoping first of all, I'm hoping everybody comes back from crossover healthy. And I'm hoping that we can lift the mask mandate in the first week that we're back. That's what I'm hoping for. And the mask mandate, when we refer to that, is on ourselves. That's what I'm hoping.
Fair enough.
I'm hoping that the people who vote for my bills come back healthy.
That's what I just said.
Okay, very good. Let's talk a little bit about executive order, and then we've got one other thing I was going to ask you too. Executive orders. You've been really working hard and doing what's necessary to work with the governor when you need to take other avenues when you need to. Tell us a little bit about executive orders.
Well, a really interesting thing happened last week in committee. We had a bill before us. One of our colleagues brought a bill that word for word was clearly unconstitutional. What they were looking to do in the bill was change what the Constitution says you can't do. And that's a 5-year lease on public lands. And the Constitution says not to exceed 5 years. This bill said 5 years minimum to exceed.
Wow.
And in my reading of that bill, it was clearly unconstitutional. But the problem was, it was brought to us because there was online auctions of leases that happened because of COVID. And it happened because of an executive order. So during the hearing, I pulled up all the executive orders, found the one that was applicable here, and found it hadn't been expired and it hadn't been withdrawn yet. So really what we needed to do was not pass a bill that was potentially unconstitutional.
Right.
We needed to rescind the executive order.
Correct.
During the hearing, I asked the chairman if I could just be excused and I'll go to the governor's office. You know how it was when you went to the principal's office. So I asked, could I go?
I don't think I did that voluntarily, but go ahead.
I asked if we could go to the governor's office, and I was able to get a hold of his chief of staff and legal counsel within minutes.
Wow.
And said, here's what we're facing right now on a bill. Can we work on this and get this rescinded and not have to deal with this bill? And that was about 4:30. And by 8:30 the next morning, the governor announced it was rescinded. And I think that's an example of where the legislature can work with the governor. And everybody impacted wanted that executive order rescinded.
Fantastic.
And it happened in 12 hours.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's
That
nice.
is very good to know.
That's
So
the way government should work.
They can actually rescind things quickly. That's good to know.
They can if they want to.
That's super cool.
In one rescission, there was 31 orders rescinded in December.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic.
Okay, last topic. We've got less than 2 minutes. You have been integral in various bills for various sessions regarding voting, elections.
Yeah.
Tell us kind of where things are at. Again, you've got just a little over a minute.
Well, I think the bill that we passed today had one no vote. I was real proud of that. It was about 82 pages long. Through this process, we have learned, and something I've always known, we've got what I believe is the most secure elections in the country for a couple reasons. It's the machines that we use. We invested $11 million 2 years ago for these machines everywhere. We have the best voter ID laws in the country. We don't have voter registration. So there's very limited opportunity for cheating.
Right.
We strengthened what I think is the best election system in the country today.
Love that.
And it has to do with getting election results faster and securing our election and checking absentee ballot signatures and verifying that poll worker or that election workers have background checks. We have tightened up what is already the best system in the country, and I was proud of that today.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will do my best to take that to the RNC as well.
They need to hear about it. Maybe this, could we fix Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania? Maybe they eliminate voter registration.
Maybe so. Maybe so.
Yep.
There's a
Look
lot
at
to
North
talk
Dakota.
about. And yep, exactly. We'll be a shining example.
All right, Scott, thanks for being with us.
Fantastic.
I'm proud of you. Happy to call you my friend, if you're still my friend. Folks, we will be back. Brain Food is next. Hang with us.
Howdy folks, it's the County Line Cafe. I reckon it's time you're due for a hearty meal. So saddle up for the day with one of our Hey Bossin' breakfast homemade soups. Fill your grill at a salad bar, sink your teeth into our famous County Line burger and barbecue ribs. Top it off with spur rattling pie with a comb roll that's sure to put a smile on even the toughest outlaws. Shake the dirt off the boots each night and warm up with the game. Tell them about it, Stacy.
I can't wait to see you at the County Line.
Since opening in Hebron in 1940, Dakota Community Bank and Trust has been your hometown bank. Our mission has been to provide modern banking convenience with old-fashioned hometown service. We've grown with the communities we serve through year-round events, countless sponsorships, and nearly 7,000 hours of volunteering each year. Learn more about our 80-year history at dakotacommunitybank.com.
Respect, innovation, trust, and excellence. These core values can be seen in every building built by Straightway Construction. In the community for over 15 years, Straightway Construction has become the premier construction company for commercial projects. From dirt to design and framing to finish, Straightway Construction is your #1 choice. You won't have to look far to find a project that has that Straightway touch. Call them today or go online to straightwayconstruction.com and let them make your vision a reality.
Jeez, what a mess. Look at that. There's roof stuff everywhere. It's so embarrassing. Ruins the neighborhood. Come on, humans. Let's get this fixed.
Don't let your roof go to the dogs. Call America's Best Contractors for your free estimate.
Need a new woof?
After checking with the rest, go with the best. America's Best Contractors. 258-2412. Online at americasbestcontractorsincorporated.com.
Did you know the Foundation for Rural Service awards scholarships for rural students? The scholarships range from $2,500 to $7,000. Go to www.frs.org for information and applications. If you're a Beck Fiber customer or the dependent of a Beck Fiber customer, you might qualify for scholarships. Beck awards scholarships to seniors headed to college or to students attending University of Mary. Go to www.beck.coop for eligibility guidelines and applications.
Welcome back. No apologies. We're still here. Brain food time.
It's time for a good brain food tonight, and
Brain
we've got
food.
some interesting stuff
Nourishment for your noggin.
So the first word that I'm going to start with today actually was a submission from somebody who instant messaged me this word randomly and had heard about it from somebody else who had a calendar of the day, like a word of the day type calendar. And so I thought, okay, it sounds interesting. And once I started looking into this word, it got even weirder. So the word is snollygoster. It could be snollygaster, it could be snallygoster, you could put the O or the A in wherever you want. I found it either way. It is a shrewd, unprincipled person. Truman lamented that Dwight Eisenhower had given in to congressional snollygosters, unprincipled politicians. The government, here's another sentence, the government started as a free one, but now the snollygoster had gotten in. And these are pictures of this mythical beast. You know, it's an interesting thing. It's a kind of a fun word to say, 19th century American slang. And the word snallygaster with an A and an A may have come from Pennsylvania German Schnellegister, which in turn probably derives from the German schnell, you know, schnell, fast, quick, and Geist, meaning spirit, according to Wiktionary. So, fast beast. It's a mythical beast that hunts poultry and children. So it sounds like something Becker would totally do there, but snollygoster.
Yeah.
It's really kind of hard to stick that in a sentence.
Well, I have something that's also up my alley.
Okay.
Today is World Bartender Day.
It is.
Yes. Yes. So why do I have bartending facts, recipes, and history? I don't know, because that's the picture I found for World Bartending Day. I do actually have a little bit for cocktail recipes. So,
oh, good.
Yeah, World Bartender Day, U.S. Bartender Day, I think is, well, I don't know, it's another time of the year.
Separate day?
Yeah. But Jerry Thomas is considered the kind of the father of bartending, if you will. And if you look in there, right up in that green little banner by his hand, it says, creator of the Blue Blazer, the drink that lit up New York.
Ooh, the
yes.
Blue Blazer.
Now, he is, take note, please, because this will be going to be good words for you, Lori. Okay. Celebrated bon vivant, which I consider myself a bon vivant.
Bon vivant. It's up on the right-hand corner up there. Yep.
Yeah,
got it.
He's a mixologist, which is a stupid word.
But that's a mixologist is not that what a bartender is?
Right. So people were trying to say mixology when they wanted to sound fancier than bartender, and now they've flipped to say, well, just call me a bartender. But anyway, tipular fixings. Tipular is another word for you.
Oh, that's a good one.
So that's Jerry Thomas. I wanted to say a little bit about his Blue Blazer.
Okay.
And there's a reason which will come in.
And you're wearing a blue blazer.
Yes, I did that for the occasion.
I'm sure you did.
All right. So Jerry Thomas is famous for his blue blazer. Do you know what's in a blue blazer?
I do not.
No, you don't.
Of course
it
not.
is scotch and boiling water.
What?
The stupidest drink in the history of mankind. Scotch and boiling water. And then it's high proof scotch. And look at those guys.
Wow.
Oh, that's not a blue blazer.
No.
Oh, it is. Yeah. Okay.
Boiling
so keep it playing
water.
while I talk here.
Okay.
So the scoop is that all it is those two ingredients, and then you light it on fire, and then you just toss it back and forth between the two mugs.
Oh, cool. Okay, that's cool.
Okay, sure, it's cool, but you have to drink it.
While it's flaming?
No, they put it out. I'm just saying it's the stupidest drink ever. Now, this guy will probably put a little bit of a lemon rind in there, I'm guessing.
Oh, interesting.
We're going to play it through. So
that is so
you're
impressive.
thinking we should offer that?
Does it taste like, is it terrible?
It tastes like crap. It tastes like strong whiskey and water, and it's hot.
Oh.
Okay.
Interesting stuff. Wow, the Blue Blazer, now
Yeah.
y'all know. It's a good visual, not gonna lie. But I don't know that you want to drink something that doesn't even taste good.
No.
I mean, what's the point?
Okay.
Okay, interesting.
Next, let's hear
All right,
about
next
your
word.
stuff.
All right, my next one is interesting because I have always known this word. I don't know why I know this word, but I have known this word for a long time. And it actually means twilight. The word is crepuscular. Now, I use this word crepuscular with the second word rays, and I'm talking about specific crepuscular rays. So crepuscular rays, a lot of people call them God rays. And if you can't remember the word crepuscular, all you need to do is just go into DuckDuckGo and put in their God rays, and you'll see pictures like this and the next one, which are all crepuscular rays. And it's just the vision. You know, that's twilight is what crepuscular actually means, but it can also mean dawn, and you can have, you know, clouds like that where they're going up. But usually it's God rays coming down from heaven, and those are God rays. Crepuscular means occurring or active during twilight, so it could be crepuscular insects, activity, or birds could all be crepuscular. It's just fun to say. I mean,
you know, I told you I had heard of that word before. I'm wrong.
You've never heard that word before?
Not crepuscular. I'm familiar with corpuscular, which is a medical term.
That's not
the
same thing.
It's not the same thing. Totally not. It has nothing to do. No. All right. Next up for me. Now, I told you about the Blue Blazer, right? The horrible drink, the stupid, stupid drink. Now, in Bismarck, North Dakota, at the Prince Hotel, there was a Blue Blazer lounge.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
And
good history.
Yes, and so, well, first I'll talk about this drink, and then we're gonna talk a little bit more about it. You've heard of this Smith & Kearns?
Yes.
Okay, so it's made with Kahlua and cream and soda. Now, this particular recipe would be horrible, 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 horrible. It's 3 ounces of cream.
Right.
Who would want to drink that? It's ridiculous. Okay, that's all I want to see of that. But more importantly, what we're talking about at the Blue Blazer Lounge, right? It was called the Blue Blazer in Bismarck, North Dakota, because they were doing that ridiculous Blue Blazer drink. There were 2 guys, a last name of Smith and last name of Curran, C-U-R-R-A-N, Smith and Curran.
That I've heard before too, yep.
Yes, okay. So at the Blue Blazer, they would go there. One was an oil man, one was a landman. They were here in the 50s for oil out in the Northwest. There weren't very many places to stay, so they stayed in Bismarck. They were at this place. They'd hang one on at night, and in the morning, the next day, they'd say, hey, we need something, take it a little easy on us. Can you think of something? The guy, allegedly, Shorty Dauber was his name, the bartender, he came up with the drink and named it after those 2 guys, Smith and Curran. Now, it had nothing to do with Kahlua.
Is it similar at all?
It's cream de cacao.
Oh, okay.
Cream de cacao, and then the other 2 things, the cream and the soda, but not nearly as much.
Not as much cream.
Way less cream. Who would drink that? So flip up the next graphic. This is a picture of, I think that's Curran. I always get them mixed up. But what's interesting is the oil man went on to do a lot of other things. He broke away, worked for Mobil. They were good friends with the Conrads. The Mr. and Mrs. Conrad, who they were good friends with, each family had kids, died in a car accident, left the kids orphaned. So the gentleman then, Mr. Curran, went over to Tripoli in North Africa to work on oil there. He took a couple of the Conrad kids, and so former Senator Kent Conrad, if you look at his resume, he went to, I think, the University of Tripoli or something like that.
Oh, for heaven's sakes.
Yeah. So anyway.
Interesting. Great history story there.
Yeah. Bismarck has history.
All about Bartender Day.
Who knew?
Very cool stuff.
Right.
Okay, when we come back, we are going to tackle some more of Biden's executive orders. Do not
Boo.
miss it.
There's nothing more important than family. And at Prairie Rose Family Dentists, we get it. That's why we have more locations, more dentists, specialists, extended hours, pediatric clinics, and even emergency appointments, so you can always be seen. Book your appointment today at prairierosedentist.com. Prairie Rose Family Dentists. We are family.
Deciding how to promote your business can be hard. Visit the professionals at Dakota Promotions and Printing and let them help you through your struggle. Dakota Promotions provides promotional items and apparel, from corporate gifts to team shirts and everything in between. With quick turnaround times and friendly service, they are your best choice. And best yet, you're shopping local. Visit them online at dakotapromo.com or stop in their showroom at 320 West Main in Mandan. Dakota Promotions, delivering promotions just for you.
Hi, I'm Dennis Haugen, along with my sons Andy and Mike, and we're showing our support for wind energy in North Dakota.
Wind energy has provided farmers like us with a steady stream of income that's not tied to the weather, like crops and cattle are.
Another bonus is that wind farm owners are required to maintain the roads leading up to the turbines. Because of that, oftentimes these roads are the best in the county. Wind energy is good for landowners, it's good for the land, it's good for our economy, and it's good for North Dakota.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
Now is the best time to plan for your 2021 farm equipment needs. North Dakota-based Summers Manufacturing is currently offering early order savings. Take advantage of big savings on North America's broadest tillage line, including the Super Kohler Samurai and the innovative VRT Renegade, as well as the best built, best backed land rollers in the industry. Talk to your Summers dealer today or go to summersmfg.com to learn more about early order savings available on all Summers equipment.
Welcome back to No Apologies. Segment 5, you made it, you did it.
And we're going to reward you with a very short segment on executive orders.
This is a short segment, pay attention.
All right.
Pay attention,
We've had
people.
so much other great stuff on the show, but we're going to talk about one right off the bat, and the interesting thing is the name of this thing, which is just like verbose. Proclamation on the suspension of entry as immigrants and non-immigrants of certain additional persons who pose a risk of transmitting coronavirus disease. Who names an executive order, something like that? But that's a mouthful too.
Right.
And we have, not only in addition to this quote, we'll do a clip in a moment, but I have determined that it is in the interests of the United States to take action to restrict and suspend the entry into the United States of non-citizens of the United States who were physically present within the
Federative
Republic of Brazil and the Republic of South Africa during the 14-day period preceding their entry or attempted entry into the United States.
Okay.
So, pretty specific on that.
Well,
You ready?
let's pop into the clip, the video clip. I want to see that.
Coronavirus emanated from China. A national emergency, worldwide alerts. The American people need to have a president who they can trust what he says about it, that he is going to act rationally about it. In moments like this is where the credibility of the president is most needed, as he explains what we should and should not do. This is no time for Donald Trump's record of hysterical xenophobia, and fearmongering.
He does not sound well in that video.
No, he sounds very mumbly.
Really,
Very
really,
mumbly.
that was disturbing to me. And he's accusing in that video former President Trump of being xenophobic, but is he not being xenophobic himself with this executive order? Just asking. I mean, can you have it
And
both
how
ways?
many segments have we done where we are exposing the hypocrisy, and this is another one?
Wow.
Because they were relentless in calling Trump a racist and xenophobic. Xenophobic, which means that you're afraid of foreigners.
Constantly.
All the time. And it was based on something that made sense. In the case of COVID-19, it was based on China.
Right.
And
you don't want the basis of the entire virus coming to your
Right.
country. So it made perfect sense.
the focus of the entire pandemic is in this country. And so you say, you know what, we're not going to let you in for now from that country. And so Trump was racist and xenophobic. And now, in the context of the entirety of what the Biden administration means, which is that everything is about race, everything is about special classes, everything must be viewed through that lens. And if you digress in any manner, you are racist. Now, here we have a situation in which he is prohibiting the entry of citizens from Brazil, brown people,
right,
and the citizens of South Africa, whom the majority are black people, not letting them in. That racist.
It's so xenophobic.
Racist,
I mean, come
xenophobe.
on. I know. It's so asinine. All of these executive orders are just silliness.
Let's hit that second one, the second graphic for this particular. Where a non-citizen circumvents the application of this proclamation through fraud, willful misrepresentation of a material fact, or illegal entry.
Wait a minute. Illegal entry? Did he? Okay, sorry.
He means undocumented.
Oh,
because
yes, he did not mean illegal.
We don't use the word illegal for immigrants.
That was a mistake. That was just
the Secretary of Homeland Security shall consider prioritizing such non-citizen for removal. So,
hypocrisy.
Hypocrisy again. My dear, you have said it exactly right. Because if you come across the border illegally, meaning undocumented, that's okay. There's no problem with that. We're not going to send you back. But if you come in on an airplane,
we're going to stop you.
And you're a brown or black person from some other country, you have to go back because you're illegal.
That's just,
we're sending you back.
Do you suppose nobody thought that through? I mean, do you think somebody was like, oh, you know what, we're going to write this executive order and we're going to put this together and we're not going to even mention the fact that it's, they don't care.
They don't care. Okay. The last thing I'll say in our few seconds is that they have a number of exemptions, which again, shows that they don't care about the science. If you're from the UN, if you're of a special class of government citizens, you can come in. If it's a certain date, you can come in. It goes on and on with these exceptions. Zero sense, zero science, 100% hypocrisy.
We're going to be back next time. Join us. We will have the director of the North Dakota Farm Bureau with us and much, much more.